Hello, hello, and welcome to the Women Thrive Unleashing the Power of Women Voices event. My name is Ramona Jan, and I will be your co host for today's show. And my lovely co host, Abigail Rebecca. Hi, Abigail. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good. Hi, everyone. Excited to be here today. We've got some amazing speakers. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, we do. And we are getting ready for our annual Women Thrive Summit that happens third week of March. And today we are going to be spotlighting the speakers, the selected and announced speakers from the Women Thrive Summit. They are joining from all around the world, so you are in for a treat. If this is your first time joining the Women Thrive Showcase event, do leave a comment below. Let us know where in the world you're joining us from, and make sure to share it because somebody definitely needs to hear what we're going to share today. Now, what to expect? Well, you can expect a lot of inspiration, a lot of amazing women who are going to be sharing snippets of their stories around about business, about life, about overcoming adversity, and how they found their way to thrive. So you will be inspired, motivated, and perhaps transformed within this event. And of course, we do this event once a month, every third Thursday of the month, and there are two of the showcase events. So this is the morning one, and we will be back this afternoon or this evening, depending where you're joining us from, for our second showcase where you will meet more amazing ladies. This is exciting. I am back from the maternity leave and I have a little gift with me. So I'm not joining myself. I've got another co-host here.
I was going to say, there's not just the two of us. We've got three co-hosts. What's it like to be back, Ramonda?
Well, if you see me rocking, you know why, because I got a little one on my hands.
Fantastic. Well, we're gonna be between the three of us. We're gonna be guiding you through today, and we've got some wonderful, wonderful guests, speakers on our showcase today. As Ramonda said, we have got such a wonderful community of speakers every single year. You know, we have. This is one of the things that I really love about it because every year we have different speakers, but it's like the same vibe of women. It's the same standard of women. It's the same amazing, open-hearted, purpose-driven women that really want to make a difference in this world. And it's so important, isn't it, Ray, at the moment, for us to feel empowered, speaking up about what we stand for and what we believe in, and aligning with our values. And every single one of the women that are going to be speaking today, either on the showcase now or a little bit later on today, really has got such an inspirational story. But on top of that, a real mission and vision to make significant change in the lives of not just themselves through providing for themselves through their business and through their zone of genius, but also for their whole community.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was catching it with someone yesterday, one of our past speakers from the Women Thrive Summit, and just said, how much I missed, the connections with fellow women. And I always feel part of the Women Thrive community, even though it has been more than 6 months that she's spoken on our stage. But, those relationships that you make within the community, and whether you're an attendee, a speaker, or in any way involved in our community, when you build these relationships with fellow women who share similar values, those relationships really, really last. So I want to give a big shout out to a beautiful Safa, who was on the cover of August edition of last year, and our lovely speaker for the Women Thrive Summit, and many, many others who come across or come through our platform, who participated, share their voice, because it is through that we're able to really make a bigger impact. And I know this for sure because how many times did we shy away from sharing our stories? How many times did we feel or we told ourselves that we're not good enough, that our stories doesn't matter, like who will care out there? And it's the same conversation I was having even with Safa yesterday. She has come a long way and she was like, well, I'm reinventing, and it's fine. You can keep reinventing yourself. But the truth is, you got to keep showing up. we got to keep showing up. We got to keep sharing our voice and our message, no matter what season of our lives we are in right now. And if there is a certain way you're feeling, like she shared with me some feelings about not sure if I'm feeling this coaching industry, but I was like, look, guess what? Probably other people who are not feeling the coaching industry themselves too. So why not we have this conversation right now? And it's because some people may feel silence, may have had experiences that are not positive and feel like we cannot speak. But when we in environments like that, we share our stories, we share our experiences, our wisdom, we help somebody else. So this is not the time to stay silent. And I know our speakers are going to be sharing some really powerful messages today from their life experiences that is going to probably be life-changing for somebody.
Yeah. Absolutely. Safa, we love you. I'm glad that you had a conversation with her. How amazing. She looks beautiful on the front of the magazine. And these are the conversations that we have every single week when we meet together with the speakers, about what is it that's really driving you? Why do you want to show up? Sometimes you might not even feel like it, but why? Why is it so important for you to make an impact and influence your community? And I understand what she's saying about the coaching community. I think, with all different areas in different businesses, we need to evolve, we need to change. We can't carry on doing the things that we've always done. The universe expands and so do we. So I think it's important that we evolve and that we look at different ways of doing things, but like you say, still show up while we're doing it. And this is such a great stage to show up on.
Yeah. And we had conversations within our community about this being a period of evolvement, of some kind of inner transformation, and it will happen. If you're doing the work, if you're showing up, if you're really doing the work, it will show up for you. And the fact, you might be feeling in this butterfly, moment where you're reinventing yourself, then that means something magical is happening. You're not in the dark, you're not in the thick of it, you're just growing, you're just evolving. And that means, again, having those conversations, attending events, reaching out for help, and not trying to figure it all out on your own. And this event is what it's all about. Let's bring some voices together and inspire our ladies to, whatever season you're in, you're going to be all right. Just embrace it and go through it. And on the other side, I promise you, there is definitely some gifts of transformation for everyone.
Absolutely. Transformation is not easy, is it, Ray? It really isn't. Well, we are very excited to introduce our first speaker. So I want to see actually in the chat. I'd love to hear where you're calling in from, whereabouts in the world you are, who you're looking for. Are you here to support a speaker? What are you most looking forward to? And really, what is the intention of you coming on to this session today? What is it that you want to be inspired about? What's your next change, your next transformation? What are you feeling that you are stepping into? When we write these things down, even on a chat on social media, we're spelling, we're weaving our desires, and we are creating and manifesting. So I invite you to be very active in the chat and give our speakers love, and also communicate to us and one another about how you're feeling when you're watching this, because it's really important that we have communities of people around us. You're not just watching this on your own, you're watching this with many, many people all around the world. So it's wonderful to see you here and to see where everyone is. We have USA, Colorado, we have South Africa, we have Portugal. Oh my goodness, how amazing that we have such a global community. So please keep going in the chat, and I'd also love to hear if you're ready for our next speaker. Who's ready for our first speaker? I am very excited to
No, it's fine. I'm looking forward. Welcome to everyone. There's so many different people from different parts of the world, which is exciting. So, yeah, let's introduce our first speaker. I'm so excited to see who it is.
Amazing. So I would love to introduce to you 𝐕𝐨𝐢𝐜𝐞𝐬. She is a leadership resilience strategist, founder of Merlot Consulting, and co-founder of Whisper and Thread. She helps leaders redefine strength as steadiness, not strain. After years leading change and transformation programs, 𝐕𝐨𝐢𝐜𝐞𝐬 saw too many leaders burning out under the pressure to appear strong. Her work reframes leadership resilience as regulation and the ability to stay calm, deliberate, and grounded through uncertainty. 𝐕𝐈𝐶𝐻, welcome to the stage. It's great to have you here.
So good to be back. I absolutely love this event. So I'm so happy to be here again. It's so fun being here. So thank you for having me.
Well, we're so happy that you are our first speaker and starting off our event today. So please take it away, and then I will be back to ask some questions afterwards.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, did you know that there is a tiny bird that weighs less than a teaspoon of sugar that can cross oceans? It's the ruby-throated hummingbird, and it crosses the Gulf of Mexico, which is about 500 miles or 800 kilometers, and it crosses it during migration, and it does it in about 20 hours. And this is a bird that's about this big. Now, that seems like it should not have that capability, but it does. And many people would say that that is a lesson in endurance, but it's actually a lesson in precision, because that little hummingbird prepares for that journey. And it does so by putting on twice its weight, and it rests immensely before it goes on that journey. It rests a lot. Now, a few years ago, everything in my life felt like it was breaking apart. I was in a marriage that was hurting me deeply, and I was in a CEO role that I wasn't enjoying. And at the time, I was the type of leader that would pretend that I was feeling strong and resilient, but inside I was burning out and I was very unhappy. Now, one night during that period, I dreamt of my dad, and my dad had already passed away. And he came to me very vividly in a dream one night, and I still remember it clearly. And he came smiling and he said to me, "Be free," just those two words. And I woke up the next morning and it changed my life, because I decided to leave my marriage and also subsequently leave that role that I was unhappy in. And it put me on the path to where I am today. Now, fast forward a few years later, and now I'm in another CEO role, and I was tasked with saving an organization that was already failing. I had to save a sinking ship, and when it sank, I was tasked with cleaning up the wreckage and closing up that organization. And I had to work with a team that no longer had jobs anymore, and they were incredible. And when I finished in that role, that team bought me many gifts. And one of the gifts they gave me was a beautiful pack of affirmation cards. And when I opened that pack of affirmation cards, the first card that I pulled out was a picture of a ruby-throated hummingbird and the words "Be free" on it. Now, it still gives me chills, because not only did it remind me of that dream of my dad when I was going through major transformation, it also reminded me of the journey that I had just taken across my own Gulf of Mexico, winding up that organization. And I saw for the first time that my leadership was no longer about being strong, and that I had found leadership that was about being steady. Now, the hummingbird in that picture showed me that what I was like that hummingbird. I was able to change direction without panicking. I rested often. I fueled deliberately. I moved with precision, and I didn't force my way through. And leaders usually do the exact opposite. They brace. They force themselves through challenging situations. They see their own Gulf of Mexico and they leap into it without gathering the energy that they need to make good decisions to get them through to the other side. So the hummingbird has really become a symbol for me, and you'll see it in the background of me. It's a symbol for me, and it's a symbol of a different way for me to lead and to live. And it's also become the basis of a steadiness framework that I've used with many clients. And has shown so many characteristics from the hummingbird in that framework, some behaviors, which includes pausing and regulating. It includes restoring and anchoring, and includes deliberate direction. Because the hummingbird, like I said, can change direction instantly without panic. It's able to stop. It doesn't move forward in a straight line all the time. It stops, moves forward, backwards, pauses as it needs to. It's one of the only birds that can fly backwards. It's an incredible little bird. And we can learn a lot about that in our own leadership, in finding steadiness and an ability to regulate. Hummingbirds do something called torpor, where they slow their heartbeat down to regulate and to save energy. And we as leaders need to learn how to do that, to pause before making big decisions, to be steady when we change direction during times of challenge, and to know that forward momentum does not always mean progress, and that steadiness means choosing direction before taking flight. Now, I know many leaders in this room, and when I say leaders, I mean entrepreneurs, founders, mothers, wonderful leaders. If you are leading anything, many leaders have this notion of old voices, outdated structures for resilience, and this notion that you need to be unshakable, otherwise you are showing weakness. And I know, because I have been there before. But today, that hummingbird is the symbol for me that shows the leadership that we need in this world. And that is to be grounded and clear and deliberate and steady. And that hummingbird is the symbol even in my business today. It is the logo of my business, not because it is pretty, but because it shows us that that is the leadership that we need in our lives. Not to be strong, but to be steady. Now, I want to know, do you see a hummingbird inside of you ready to take flight? That is what the hummingbird has taught me, and that is what I help leaders do now. It's not about toughness or theatrics. It's just steadiness that lets you fly to destinations that you never thought you could fly to. I delve into this framework much more at the Women's Thrive Summit next year, and I really hope you can join me. And if you want to find me on Instagram under Vermello or Whisper and Thread, or LinkedIn under Louisa Hogan. I would love to connect with you.
Louisa, thank you so much. I really love this message so much. And because, one of the reasons I love this message is it's so anti-corporate, like the way that we've both got corporate backgrounds, and the way that leadership is revered, to go out there and to hustle and to get things done and to make it happen. And actually what you're saying is that the power is in the pause. The power is in the rest. And we were talking about this, weren't we, before we came on camera?
100%.
I was like, it's just that it's a message that I needed to hear today, and a message that I speak a lot, but about the rest is so important. And when you were talking about the hummingbird that puts on twice its weight and then rests, it's like, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Don't we all wish we could do that? Just put on twice our weight and then sleep it off for a while and then go on our big journey.
Exactly. I just want to sit on the sofa with my blanket and eat biscuits until I pop. Wonderful. What a wonderful metaphor. And I love the fact that you pulled that card. And I mean, what a beautiful message, and also a wonderful message from your father.
Yeah, it's still, it's a vivid memory for me, that dream. And the hummingbird still shows up for me today. Like, I get little messages via hummingbirds in the most unusual ways. There are no hummingbirds in Australia, and I find hummingbirds in all sorts of situations. It's like a little nod from the universe telling me, you don't need to be strong, just slow down, be steady, think about this, pause for a minute and regulate yourself, and then you can make good decisions. And the hummingbird just reminds me, I feel like the universe is looking out for me. If it's my dad, the universe, something certainly is sending me those hummingbirds all the time.
I love that. I love that we can get to choose a sign, and mine's rainbows. So whenever I see a rainbow, I just know I'm on track. I know, and I purposely put rainbows everywhere as well. I'd love to know in the chat, actually, if you have a sign from the universe that lets you know that you're on track. Louisa, so excited to have you speak on the summit next year. So we're going live March 2026, which is so exciting. I know that you mentioned there. What is it that we should expect from your talk? What is it that you're going to bring to the table?
Well, definitely if I'm there for those people who are capable and who are disciplined and who are motivated, and you don't need somebody to motivate you or to get you back on track. And what you may be feeling is strain and feeling like you're the one that has to hold everything together all the time, and feeling like you cannot possibly let things go, because if you do, everything will fall apart. That's what my talk is for. It's for those people, because I want to show you that you can put things down, and there are very good ways that you can do that without losing your credibility, your authority, without losing your control. In fact, it will help you do that in so much better way. So that's what you can expect. Some real stories and a message that will help you come out going, I actually can do this, and I don't need to hold this all together all the time. And resilience looks different to that being strong. Resilience is steadiness.
And there is that in itself is a leader, someone who doesn't feel like they have to get everything right and do everything at the same time, like you say, hold that space so intensely. Leadership for me personally is someone having the confidence and feeling they can trust themselves to be like that, right? To take the pauses, to, I always say with speaking, like the power is in the pause. And you're saying that about business as well, and leadership, the power is in the pause.
100%, because I find people panic, and especially in leadership, we're the top dog here. Everyone's looking at me for the solution. So something goes wrong. There's this internal drive to have to make this decision and have to do it now because everyone's watching me. And the best thing you can do is pause and regulate yourself, lower your heart rate, anchor yourself in the moment, bring yourself back to the present. Because when you do that, you're able to make a clear strategic decision that isn't reactive to what's going on around you. You can be inside the tornado without the tornado pushing you around.
Yeah. It's such a great message. That pause has really helped me actually in my leadership. Exactly what you're talking about there, because you can be so reactive, but just that pause and, what is the opportunity? What's the opportunity for me? Let's not react. Let's just feel it into it. And then you can make an informed decision from a much better place than you would be just making that decision from your emotions.
Yeah. And also, sometimes I was on a podcast today and we were talking about this. We were saying sometimes you make a decision, and even if it doesn't work out, it was still the right decision if you're following your gut and you're doing it from a place of calm, because what you get out of that is a learning, a lesson. And that was a lesson that you needed at that time. So, if you make decisions and they don't work out the way you think, that's absolutely fine if you've made them from an intuitive place and a place that is grounded and a place that is calm, because you've just learned something and now you can make your next grounded and calm decision. No decision is bad if you've made it from that space. It's only bad if you keep reacting knee-jerk reactions and you come out of it with all this mess and you're panicking and you're making more mess because you're panicking and trying to solve a problem from a place that isn't centered and still and steady.
It's beautiful, Louisa. Thank you so much for this really powerful message this morning. And Tanya said, "You are my hummingbird, Louisa."
That's my sister. She's amazing support to me.
Hi,
That's
Tanya.
my sister.
Oh my goodness, Tanya, we've heard so much about you. We need to meet you one day.
I want her to speak on Thrive too, so I'm pushing her.
Tanya, come. It might still be space. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Louisa. So, where do we find you? Let us know your website, media, etc. Where do you hang out?
Look, if you're on LinkedIn, find me on LinkedIn, because there's a link tree there that takes you to all of my websites and social media. But if you're not on LinkedIn, you can find my link tree on Vermelho Consulting, VERMELHO. There's a link tree there that takes you to all of my other websites too. Or you can find me at Whisper and Thread if you're interested in a wonderful pair of underwear with affirmations in, and you want to tackle your self-talk. Head over to our Instagram or Facebook page and you can have a look there, and you can find us there too. So any one of those places are fine.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Louisa, for starting our event today. It's wonderful to have you in our community.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck to everyone else.
So that was Louisa Hogan. Please make sure that you go follow her. She's an incredible leadership mentor, coach, support, and also Whisper and Thread. And go and check out those knickers. I mean, they are power affirmation knickers. So I would definitely recommend that you go and check out the brand Whisper and Thread as well. So I would love to know in the chat how you're finding this. A really powerful message there for Louisa about, going against the status quo. What would happen for you and your business and your leadership if you weren't trying to firefight all the time, if you weren't in crisis management all the time, and actually what you decided to do was to pause and to self-regulate and make decisions from that place? You might find that you are making more powerful, effective decisions that lead to success, not only in your business, but also in your life. So it was wonderful to hear Louisa talk today. So we are ready for our next speaker. Her name is Lisa Tyndall. She is a wealth alchemist and embodiment mentor, igniting profound transformation for women worldwide through her multi-dimensional retreats. So she's a retreat event facilitator. So she runs the Retreat Event Facilitation Academy, and also through her frequency-based embodiment work. She is the founder of the School of Mastery, a global movement guiding women to reclaim full spectrum mastery, emotional, energetic, spiritual, and material, through the embodiment of truth, power, and prosperity. Welcome to the stage. It's so wonderful to have you here.
That was quite a mouthful, wasn't it?
I love, you know what, Lisa? I love your bio, but I need to get my teeth in, because this shows, though, how brilliant you are and how multidimensional you are, because you don't just do one thing, you bring in these wonderful elements. So it absolutely does you justice, and it needs to be said. But I brace myself for your bio because it's so magnificent.
Oh, thank you.
You're jetting around everywhere at the moment, aren't you? You are a true role model for anyone that said, you know what, I want to set up my business so I can create freedom and travel and have this, hashtag laptop lifestyle. Whereabouts in the world are you at the moment, Lisa?
Okay. Well, I was in, goodness me, I was in Bangkok about 3-4 hours ago, and now I'm in Vietnam. I'm a little bit jet lagged. I do apologize. So yes, I'm in Vietnam, in Da Nang.
Wonderful. Well, you wouldn't know it. I know that even with the jet lag, you are going to deliver a powerful message for us today. So please take it away, and then I'll be back afterwards with some questions.
Thank you so much. Have you ever found yourself at 2 a.m. searching for answers you don't say out loud? Things like, how do I keep sabotaging myself? Why do I feel stuck even when I'm doing everything right? Why can't I hold success without falling apart? Why does trauma, fear, limiting beliefs keep controlling my life? Have you ever had those moments when you realize you're living the same cycle in a different chapter, where you're doing the same thing over and over again? The same patterns, the same shutdowns, the same version of the woman you swore you'd never be again and you whisper to yourself, why do I keep slipping back into survival? The minute life expands, I contract. Why does the old identity still have power? Why do I abandon myself before everything I want is within reach? We all know these moments. I call these choice points. When life doesn't ask you to hustle harder or do more, it asks you to turn inward. Remember who you are and choose differently. Because nothing changes. Not your money, not your relationship, not your happiness, not your business, not your success, when you're still living from the old identity that you've built in survival. No strategy works if your nervous system, which I call the tree of life, is bracing, waiting for something to happen. And no transformation completely integrates in your body if it's still carrying the echoes of the past. I know what it means to live in pain, survival, and constant searching for safety. Oh, man, do I know. I've worked through sexual, physical, and mental abuse. Sexual abuse by my stepfather, then later my mum's boyfriend, who we found out was actually a convicted pedophile. And then later again through a family friend. I've walked through abandonment of my father, my birth father, walking into the hospital and telling my mum the day that I was born that he was leaving. And then I started, when I got older, squashing down all this with addiction, followed by 3 attempts of suicide. Living my whole life performing to meet others' needs, not knowing who I was. I was a people pleaser and giving myself constant breadcrumbs while putting everybody else first. Those experiences, and I know you're thinking, oh man, I feel that because I've been through so many similar, they could have destroyed me. But instead, they became that fire that forged me into the woman I am today. Don't get me wrong, I've built multiple 6-figure and 7-figure businesses. I lived a life of freedom in Bali. On the outside, about 6-7 years ago, everything looked great. I built the life that most people imagine, but inside, I was still disconnected from myself, exhausted, still running from an identity shaped in trauma, survival, and self-protection. And in those collapses a few years ago, 2 years ago, everything collapsed. Even after decades of delving into the depth of who I am, through some extraordinary healing and taking radical responsibility, when everything I had built came undone. That is when I finally returned to myself. When I felt like I cracked the code of my truth. Within that, everything changed. We constantly seek externally for everything to fill us. We look for this, we look for that, we look for this to fill us, to make us better, to make us whole, to the right strategy, the right blueprint, the right blah, blah, blah. When true wealth is in here. It's in here. It's an inside journey. True wealth isn't money. True wealth is safety. It's identity. It's embodiment. It's living from power, not force, from peace, not panic, from who you really are, not who you're taught to be. That breakdown became my breakthrough. It became my biggest breakthrough. Probably what I call now my homecoming. And today my mission is very clear, to guide women into the highest identity of who they truly are, where power, prosperity, and peace become their natural state of being. I help women collapse old timelines, old identities, dissolve exhaustion and fear, and awaken the wisdom, the only wisdom they truly need to build as high as they want in the sky, that's already alive in their body. Because when you shift your identity, your entire reality shifts. Your highest timeline is a quantum leap, not a roller coaster of struggle and second guessing yourself. My vision is a world where women don't just rise, they remember. They remember. The world where they don't just build businesses, they build legacies from the most solid foundation, their tree of life rooted in the ground. The world where leadership isn't burnout, it's embodiment. This is the path I walk. This is the path I hold in my School of Mastery, in my $1 Million Pathway, in my Retreat Academy. Because when a woman returns home to herself, everything she desires becomes, it begins to rise. It rises to meet her. So if what I've shared today has activated something in you, I'd love to invite you into my inner sanctuary, my free community where I share teachings, identity work, embodiment, wealth mastery. And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, just simply under my name. And remember, you do not have to walk this path alone. The moment you choose yourself, life rearranges around you.
Lisa, jet lag looks good on you.
Jet lag looks good on you. Oh dear.
Bringing the fire today. I absolutely love that. And how fantastic to carry on the theme of going inwards and being still. And it really feels like such a powerful message today, and a message that I know many of us need to learn. I absolutely, it's really resonating with me today. We had such an amazing conversation about this as well on the recent podcast, the Women Thrive podcast. And I'd really love to encourage everyone actually to go and watch this podcast. We only recorded it. What was it, last week? I mean, it's
last week. And that was when I was going to Bangkok the day before. And when I got from Vietnam, got to Bangkok, and I was like, what the hell? It's already up.
we don't hang around. We're very but it just reminded me of the discussion that we had on the podcast, and also you mentioned it there in your talk, and I'd love to just share a light on this for a moment, if I may, for you to be able to share with the audience today. You were talking about taking radical responsibility. What does that mean, Lisa, and how does that then impact you, has impacted you as an example, and your clients, and can impact us in terms of how we can then go and create this wonderful life of abundance, which isn't just about the money, it's the embodiment, it's the feeling, it's all of that combined.
Great question. So radical responsibility for me was the real turning point. It's when I realized that everything is, there is God, there is source, there is the universe, but there's also a whole matrix of that within you. There's God, source, and universe. And I realized that I had created a life. This was my life, and I had created every person, every object, everything. Lou talked about different things to make you to say that you're on track. Mine was feathers. Like, I had literally created feathers. When I saw feathers, I was like, oh, good, I'm doing the right thing. This is exactly what I'm meant to be doing. And I had, when I took radical responsibility for everything that was in my life and not in my life, and it was really uncomfortable, because when you start looking at this from a real final point, you really start to see that you are the one that is actually accountable for everything that's in there and everything that's not. And it's a really hard pill to swallow sometimes, because it's like, oh. But when you do take that responsibility and you realize it, and you do it not from a place where you start attacking yourself, oh my goodness, you could do better, you freaking idiot, more from oh my God, it's the curious one. When you get curious about your life, the best thing you can do within your world is to get curious and take responsibility and be okay with it. And pat yourself on the back, because we're all doing such an incredible job with what we've been given. But as you take responsibility, you start to accept that whether you're living your life in a place from past patterns and wounds, or you're living it from a place that you're thriving. So survival or thrival, because you can only be in one. You can only be in pleasure or pain. So where do you actually, at that choice point, after you take radical responsibility, where do you choose to move forward with this? And, far out some of the things I've done, especially when I was an addict. Oh, but I had to dig deep. Even like, looking at the fact that I use sex as power because that's how I program myself. So learning why you do things is so powerful to be able to shift and change, jumping onto different timelines and just healing so much generational stuff. Because most of it, I've got to tell you, it's not yours. It's not yours, but we're carrying it, and because of all the belief systems and all that sort of thing. So, my clients, they get into a space where when they're safe, because a lot of us don't feel safe. We're programmed. That's the whole tree of life thing, that the nervous system, when your nervous system is really calm, then you can really thrive and move forward, and you can start to change and shift things with the choice points.
Oh, Lisa, I love that so much. It's a real ego eradicator, isn't it? When you are taking radical responsibility for everything. But it's like you say, we put so much emotional attachment and own it. We like to own things, don't we? It's mine, it's mine. But actually, you're saying it's not yours. It's generational trauma that can be handed back 2 generations or handed back to other people. So actually it isn't you. So, and when you can really step through the ego and take responsibility and hold your hands up and go, you know what, I created this, it gives you so much freedom, because then you're like, well, if I created that, then I can create this.
Exactly. That's how freaking powerful we are. Well done.
Oh, Lisa, I could speak to you forever. We think we're just so happy to have you here on the summit, and I just love your energy and what you stand for and how direct you are with it all. Really, it's so wonderful and so refreshing. And if anyone wants to learn more about your work and step into this, where will they find you online? Where can they contact you, Lisa?
Yeah, so I'm currently having a website upgrade, but it will be www.𝐸𝐸.Tyndall. I changed my name because I got married like 6 years ago, but you can basically find me on finally doing it, any social media. For Facebook and Instagram is really where I play. Like really simplified everything, really simplified. And in Instagram, I've got a link tree that you can just go on there and you can get into my space. And on Facebook, I have a free membership called the Inner Sanctuary.
Wonderful. Yeah. Lisa, thank you so much for coming and joining us today, all the way from Vietnam. So wonderful to see you. And please go and have some sleep. Amazing. Thank you so much. Take care. See you soon. So that was the vibrant Lisa Tyndall there with such an important message. And you see the theme. You see the theme that is being created very, very naturally today on our stage. So I hope you're enjoying. We'd love to see your comments, to see how you are identifying with this, how inspiring it is, or it might be confronting for you as well. If that's the case, good. Because that means that actually there's something inside of you that really feels that you need to change, and that really is the start of transformation. So we are going to move on now. We're going to move away from Vietnam. We're going to come back to the UK, where I am, and also where our wonderful next speaker is. Her name is Annette Williams. She is a confidence hypnotherapist and founder of Silverbrook Hypnotherapy. And Annette specializes in helping professional women get the credit they deserve by unblocking their confidence to stand up and speak out. Annette believes that everyone is entitled to live a life they love without limitations, and that boosting your self-belief can be truly transformational. Annette's unique approach blends creative industry expertise with bespoke therapeutic techniques, including hypnosis, to address issues like performance anxiety, public speaking fears, social anxiety, and phobias. Annette, welcome to the stage. It's wonderful to have you here.
Hi, Abigail. It's fantastic to be here. Thank you.
So I am going to let you speak and share your wonderful zone of genius, and I will be back to have a conversation with you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's a pleasure to be here. But first of all, I would like to apologise for my croaky voice. I've caught some coldy, fluey, lurgy thing, and I probably shouldn't be doing any public speaking today. But when I realised what the date was, I knew I had to power through. Because November the 20th is a sadly significant date for me and my family. As 17 years ago today, my dad died. My dad, William Williams, or Big G as I like to call him, has had a huge positive impact on my life, and I miss him every day. So to tell you a little bit more about him, my dad was the youngest of 4 sons in a family of 9, and he grew up in a small terraced house in the mining community in one of the South Wales valleys. He had a huge lust for life. He was ambitious, talented, very funny, creative and kind. And if you ever had the luck to meet Gwilym, you'd know, because your life was richer for it. But my dad actually designed and built our family home in Cardiff. And the house was called Silverbrook. And for me, it was a place of safety and unconditional love. So that inspired the name of my business, Silverbrook Hypnotherapy. Now, my dad actually outlived my mum by 6 years, which did come as a bit of a surprise, because he was the one who'd had more significant health issues, massive heart surgery and things like that. But his health declined over a period of years, whereas there was only 7 weeks between my mum's first doctor's appointment and her funeral. So November the 20th is a day of mixed emotions. But as I think about my dad and my mum today, I'm grateful for all of the good qualities that they passed on to me, my brother, and my sister. Because our childhood and our upbringing play a significant part in shaping the adults we become. The way we're raised, the environment we grow up in, the opportunities we are given or not, and the situations we are exposed to, all help to build a kind of lens through which we see the world and our place in it. Now, I'm very aware, especially in the work that I do now, that not all childhoods are safe or encouraging. In fact, when I'm working with my clients, it's clear that their formative experiences have given their lens a negative perspective. But the good news is that this lens isn't set in stone. It can be cleaned, it can be updated, it can even be replaced if it's no longer serving us. Now, some of my clients weren't raised in families where love was unconditional or encouragement was the default. Some were criticised for trying, others punished for failing. And as adults, well, they still carry that. It shows up in their confidence, their relationships, and their willingness to be visible. But just because something was, doesn't mean it has to be. Because the truth is, when we become adults, something powerful happens. We gain the ability to choose. We can't change what's happened in our past, but we can change what we do next. Indulge me, just imagine that your life is a house. And yes, some of the bricks may be a bit mismatched and might do with some new painting, but you're not stuck with a half-built shack. You can add to it. You can reinforce it, you can repaint it, you can redesign it. It's your house, so it can be whatever you want it to be. And when you look out of one of those windows, your windows, you can see your future ahead. Because that's the real message I want to share with you today. You are not your upbringing. You are not your past. You are you in all your authentic glory. So regardless of what's gone before, you get to decide what comes next. So ask yourself, who do I want to become? What patterns do I want to repeat? And what do I want to leave behind in the past? Me? Well, I'm trying to continue my parents' legacy by passing their best qualities onto my own daughter. But I'm doing it in my way, and you can too. Because your job isn't to carry the weight of other people's stories. Your job is to write your own. So take the experiences, take the lessons, and then take a deep breath and move forward, because your future is your story and you can absolutely do this. Now, if you want to know more about what I do, then please check out my website. It's silverbrookhypnotherapy.co.uk. And feel free to connect with me on all the social platforms. I'm Annette Williams Silverbrook on LinkedIn, or Silverbrook_hypnotherapy on Instagram, and Silverbrook Hypnotherapy on Facebook. Thank you for listening, and thank you to my voice for not cracking as I thought it was going to. Thank you.
Annette, thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to try and get through this without crying, because it was just such a beautiful message. And I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling poorly, and thank you for coming on. And
very rough. Well, I wouldn't miss this. I would not miss this. It's such a great opportunity. And when I saw the significance of the day, I thought, I'm meant to be here. My dad would have said, go for it, Annette, just do it. So I do.
Yeah, how wonderful. What a wonderful legacy that your parents have left, and that you can continue, and to really be able to reflect and really honor your dad today. And I didn't realize that that's why your practice was called Silverbrook. In fact, I was looking at your bio yesterday, and I did actually think, I was like, I wonder why it's called Silverbrook. I do need to ask Annette. And there you go, there's the answer.
So yeah, it's, as I say, he was a very talented man. He designed it. He built it virtually all himself, but Silverbrook was our family home with my brother and my sister, and surrounded by love, unconditional love and support and encouragement. And so those are the qualities, those are the values and the beliefs that I I do help my clients absorb.
Yeah, I know that your practice and the work that you do and the support that you give with your clients is so invaluable. And I really, really loved your message today. And you sang reference also to Silverbrook, the house,
Yeah.
that you can, even if the house feels that it's unloved and broken, and the walls are falling down and it needs a good lick of paint, and it needs all these things doing to it, we have then the power to be able to rebuild it and add an extension and jazz it up and make it look wonderful.
Absolutely. And your taste is your taste. You can have in it whatever you want, because you just need to be yourself, and not be influenced by other people who haven't got your best interests at heart.
Yeah, such a great message today. We're so happy to have you in our community, to have you in our stage. I love your stories. You're a fantastic storyteller. Annette, what would we expect from you on your talk in March on the Women Thrive Summit?
Well, I'm a very practical person. So whatever I do, I want people to take away some learning, because what I find most with the clients that I work with, there's this kind of belief that confidence is something that you're born with, and it absolutely isn't. It's a skill and you can learn. Yes, you can have some advantages earlier on in life, but it's not something beyond anyone's reach. And so I always like to, whatever I do, have a mix of inspiring stories. I am a storyteller. I worked in children's television for nearly 40 years, and that's how you communicate. So relatable stories. I see myself as a cheerleader for people, to champion them, because a lot of people don't have somebody in their corner, and people are brilliant. And I want to release that valve, or winkle that out. Everybody has got that within them. And so I will have a mix of inspiring stories, some practical tips, and lots of advice about changing the way we view the world. That lens that I was talking about that gives us our perspective, that is not fixed. It's you can swap it out, you can change it. And once you start looking at life through a more positive lens, the world of opportunities open up. It's truly liberating, and I see it happen all the time. And that's why I love what I do.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Annette. We're really looking forward to your talk, and thank you so much for coming on. We're going to give your voice a rest now. I
did it. Yay.
I hope you've got honey and lemon on standby and a nice hot water bottle, and you can have a little snuggle on the sofa this afternoon.
Well, sadly not, but I feel like I'm doing my own pilot study of how many throat lozenges it's possible to eat in a day. Don't know if any big pharma companies are interested in that, but I'm a little case study here. So
you can do a collab with tunes.
Yes.
Or
Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh.
I don't think they even exist anymore. That just shows how old I am. Annette, thank you so much. Thank you for coming and speaking today. It's been wonderful to see you.
My absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to see the speakers who are coming next and in the showcase this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for showing your love to Annette in the chat. And I'd really love to hear from you. How have your parents inspired you? You know, if you have had that wonderful relationship with your parents, and maybe you didn't, but what is the lesson in that? What can you take from that? And how are you rebuilding your house? We'd love to know. Please make sure that you go and follow the wonderful Annette on socials, and of course on her website. We all know the name of her business now. It's Silverbrook, and we all know why. So, talking about inspirational parents, I would love to see if my wonderful co-host and the founder of Women Thrive Media, Ramunda Jan, is able to come on for a quick little chat before we pass on to the next speaker. So I'd love to invite onto the stage Ramunda. There she is.
Oh, it's so much fun. I always love these conversations and just hearing women's stories and the wisdom that they share and their life experiences. It just goes to show that, you know, we need to share more stories. We need to bring it forth and share with others, because I know there's transformation for someone else in our story. And today's showcase definitely has shown me that.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you, I want to ask you actually, what are you most excited about for the summit? I know that this is going to be the Women Thrive 6 Summit, so it is a well-oiled machine. You've got lots of experience with hosting it, but what are you most looking forward to, Ramunda?
You know, the energy is always really magical in the week of the summit. I'm just going to pick up my daughter.
Bring her on. Bring on the third host. There she is.
No, I have a voice. And that's exactly what I think our speakers are bringing. We have been doing this for a few years now, and you know, we always have an amazing group of women, but I feel like this year women are really determined to step on stage, determined to deliver something powerful. They're committed to change, and I think this year we're going to make bigger impact than ever before, and I'm seeing the signs of that. You know, we put in a lot of work behind the scenes for over the years, and it's really starting to reap its benefits. So I'm excited about the women we're going to reach, the lives we're going to transform, and the relationships that we're sowing. You know, like I said, these are going to last a lifetime, and they're going to change somebody's life. So I'm excited about that. For people who join the Women Thrive Summit, sometimes when we sent out an email, whether you come in for one talk or whether you come for the entire event, your life is going to be changed. And I promise you, when you come to one talk, you'll want to stick around, because every single woman have something truly magical to share, and the experience is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, and of course, this summit is just one of the many ways that our community can be visible and speak their truth and share their voice. There's so many amazing things that you have created as the founder of Women Thrive, Ramunda. I believe that there's a celebration coming up soon with a particular publication. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I got a special edition, which actually talks about collaboration over competition. Yesterday I recorded a podcast, a special one, to celebrate 50 issues of the Women Thrive magazine. 50 issues. I couldn't even believe it. You know, when someone asks you, well, how did you get here, right? How did you achieve such success? And in this case, one issue at a time. You don't think, oh, we're going to get to 100 issues or 1,000 issues or 50 issues. You just focus on that one issue every month. And it's been steady, consistent, just what Lou was saying, just steady leadership. And that's what we need: consistent, steady, reliable leadership. And we at Women Thrive, celebrating 50 issues. It has grown a lot, and we have more than ever visitors to our website, contributors to our magazine. We're launching a brand new website next week. And, I'm glad that women who have been part of this journey have seen this platform and believed in it, because it's with their belief that we are here. When people believe in your vision, they join your mission, and they become part of it. And without the women who have contributed, who have been part of the story, part of the vision, we wouldn't have it. And I want to share another cover with you, which is our special cover for March. I don't know what this March cover is going to be, but every March we have a group photo on the cover of the magazine. And this year was really magical because we got to meet our community and our authors and speakers in person in Miami. And this is where, these virtual relationships that we start, at events like this, showcases like this, actually turn into real life relationships and celebrations. And I am glad that we have created some beautiful relationships. Just 2 weeks ago, I made a phone call, and it was 3 women in Costa Rica going out for dinner. And I just found out actually this week, one of the ladies said, Ray, when the phone rang, we were just talking about you. And we were saying how without you, we wouldn't be here. You've created this 3-way relationship that now has become a collaboration. We're doing work together. We're creating a retreat. And they in person, right? They have this relationship. And yeah, I'm grateful for that, to be able to start a little something with a seed of an idea that now turns, these connections into real life, beautiful relationships, collaborations, and partnerships.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's so great to see that when it happens, because we talk about it a lot. If we're just coming to the end now. Today is the last day actually of tomorrow is the last day of our speaker interviews, and we talk about it a lot, about the opportunities that you have within any community, but especially the Women Thrive community, to be able to collaborate and grow together. And you were talking about our magazine, our joint magazine cover, where the article was all about collaboration over competition. And it is so wonderful to see these relationships flourish. And I've just brought up, because I've been doing this a lot, right? I just love it. Like, we've got the wonderful Neo, who was one of our co-authored book collaborators last year. We are helping her to write I think it's her 5th solo book, and she's actually just been confirmed as well as a VIP speaker on the stage next year. And then we also have the amazing 𝐸∞, who has been on the summit a couple of times, and was also part of the co-author book series, and was invited back to Miami at the beginning of the year, which the cover that you've just showed, she was actually the keynote speaker at that event in Miami. And these 2 wonderful women are collaborating. That is not the only story. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The things that we can do when we stop being in competition with one another, we stop trying to compare ourselves to other people, we stop trying to be jealous of one another. Women have been pitted together against each other for a reason, because when we come together, we are strong, and we're a force to be reckoned with.
And I want to tell you a little story about Colette and Neo. So Neo and Colette attended our Women Thrive retreat in Valencia. That's how they met for the second time in person, because for the first time we met in Miami. And so Colette said, I'm hosting a retreat in September. And Neo said, I'm going to fly out and see you. But some things happened and she was only able to be there for one day. And she was like, even for one day, I'm going to go and support my sister and I'll be there. And she told me that we were doing an exercise on a vision boarding, right? She said, I haven't done a vision board in a while and I wanted to do it. And Colette was facilitating. And so we done this vision board. And when it was the time to reveal it, myself and Colette opened our vision boards and it was exactly the same thing on the vision board, word for word. Word for word, they had the same vision for a retreat for leaders. And that's when they looked at each other, they said, we got to do this. We got to join forces. And this is why, when you said, collaboration over competition. So when you see another woman wanting to do exactly the same thing, that's when you join forces with each other and you create something even more powerful and more successful. So that is, that in example of how it really happens, how it starts, and then how it evolves into a beautiful relationship and collaboration with two powerful women who, as you see as example, met each other at the beginning of this year and met each other a couple of times since, and now creating a beautiful partnership in business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great story and a great example of that. And even now in our green room, behind the scenes, behind the stage, we've got the chat is lighting up, women supporting one another. It really is wonderful to see these relationships start to emerge, even now in this particular cohort for the 2026 summit. So we are excited to continue on this whole journey, to continue in the community and also to continue on our showcase, because we have some wonderful, wonderful speakers to come in the second half of our showcase. Are you excited about it, Ramonda?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I know some of these ladies woken up really early to be with us today. So I appreciate it. I don't think you could get me out so early out of bed.
I mean, I like to get early, but not middle of the night early. But hey, I mean, this is great. And I know they'll be on fire. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next speaker.
Okay, you go ahead. I've got a little Sleeping Beauty on my hands.
We'll be back for a chat. We'll be back for a chat shortly.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay, so moving on to the second half of our showcase today. And yes, we have got some wonderful women that are joining us from the other side of the world well, it depends where you're joining us from, actually. I'm saying the other side of the world from me because I'm based in the UK. We have some wonderful women that are joining us from the United States. So it's very, very early in the morning for them. So we're very grateful to have our next two speakers here in the room. But first of all, I would love to introduce you to 𝐤𝐴ngel Dash. 𝐤𝐴ngel is a flame keeper and sacral, let me start this again. 𝐤𝐴ngel Dash is a flame keeper and sacred brand alchemist who helps soul-led visionaries, thought leaders, and heart-centered powerhouses become seen, trusted, and unforgettable with their true voice. She is the creator of the trauma-informed BOLD method, BOLD, and author of the upcoming book, Serpent and Strategy. I love it. The Flame Keeper's Path of Reclamation. A disabled veteran and spiritual entrepreneur, 𝐤𝐴ngel is known for turning visibility into ceremony, helping clients alchemize their story into a brand that moves like fire. 𝐤𝐴ngel, welcome. Flame Keeper, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And yes, it is early in the morning, but I wouldn't miss it.
It's so wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for creating this space for yourself and for us and for sharing your beautiful fire with us today. So I'm going to hand over the stage to you, and then I'll come back with some questions.
Sounds great. What if the thing holding you back isn't the fear of visibility, but rather the fear of exposure? Visibility is the act of being seen. Exposure is the raw act of being witnessed, judged, and even misunderstood. One is neutral, the other more intimate, landing right on the most vulnerable parts of your story. And most of us aren't afraid of being seen. Not really. What we do care about is being perceived. We fear what people will decide about us the second they catch a glimpse of our truth. And if no one teaches you the difference, you end up hiding from the shadows that you were never meant to carry. You see, I didn't realize that I had an exposure wound until my body collapsed in places my voice had gone silent. For years, I hid my cane. I'd limp through life pretending I was fine, pushing through the pain just so that strangers wouldn't think, why is this 20 or 30-year-old, walking with a cane? When I was younger, the only people I saw with canes were elders who I was taught was frail. As such, I subconsciously internalized canes must equal weakness. Nobody taught me that a queer disabled veteran could carry a cane and still hold power, presence, fire. But that's how exposure wounds work. They shape how you walk into a room, how you breathe, how you let yourself take up space. And it wasn't just my body that I hid. I grew up in a deeply religious household where there was only one right way to love. Anything outside that box was dangerous and wrong. So I dimmed my light, tucking away anything that didn't fit the script. But life has since taught me differently. I've learned that the realm of love can span oceans, move mountains, and last many times over. I think about the movie Under the Tuscan Sun, how one of the characters, Catherine, dares to fall in love with life again. And it's all through her love of bold hats and ice cream. And for years, I didn't let myself live like that. I was too busy managing perceptions and abandoning joy. Here's what I've learned. Visibility wounds happen when you are punished for being seen. Exposure wounds happen when you are punished for being known. One says, don't speak. The other says, don't feel. Both say, don't be you. And this is why so many brilliant women, creators, leaders, healers believe that they lack confidence, when in reality, they actually lack permission to live, to love, to move, to walk, speak, to exist without bracing for someone else's reaction. This is why showing up online drains you, why authenticity feels risky, why you rehearse your truth instead of actually living it. You're not unstable or unprepared or too emotional. You're simply protecting the parts of yourself that were never protected by others. And that protection may have kept you alive, but it will never help you rise. I invite you to take a breath with me. Think of the part of you that you've tucked away, not because it wasn't beautiful, but because it was once mishandled. Maybe it was your voice, your desire, your joy, your Catherine with ice cream moment. Whisper this with me. Visibility is my truth. Exposure doesn't own me anymore because you get to choose now. You get to decide what is shared, what is honored, what is expressed. You decide how your story moves through the world. Your visibility isn't performance, it's a relationship, a living one, a sovereign one, and it's yours to reclaim. Most of us aren't hiding because we're weak. We're hiding because we were never taught the difference between being looked at and truly being seen. But hear me, you're not afraid of visibility, not really. You're afraid of being misunderstood while being visible. And yet your fire was never meant to stay hidden. So let yourself be seen and felt. Let yourself be known, because the parts of you that you've protected the longest, the ones wrapped in silence, in softness, and in shadow, those are the parts with the most heat. And guess what, babes? It's time to set things ablaze. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angel. What I really love about you, there's many things that I love about you, but you really walk your talk, literally. And when you were talking there about, you know, very often the shame that we can carry when we're different to someone else, you know, when we feel weak, when we feel vulnerable, there is being part of the crowd, like, tends to empower us. Being different can very often disempower us, because then it's like, then we, you know, then we can become vulnerable and we can be prey, and, you know, we can be singled out. But your message is about reclaiming that and taking it back. And you mentioned there about your stick, and, you know, I always mention this because it's so fabulous, because you really use it as the center point in your messaging, in your branding. How, if anyone is feeling like that at the moment, I know that you've given a real amazing talk there, but, you know, what would be your message to anyone that is feeling very disempowered at the moment, that is watching this because they feel that they are different?
That's a good question. I mean, there's the obvious, you know, forget what everyone says. You only have one life. But if I'm channeling my intuition, if I'm channeling my inner self, you are the fire. Everyone has fire within them. And it's a matter of finding it. And if you need help, find somebody that is on your side, that is in your corner. Every single one of these women that are part of the Women Thrive have become that flame, have become a part of that flame for me. And the uplifting that you can find when you find your community is freaking bomb.
I love that. And I love to hear also about your personal experiences, because it's all very well teaching that it's important to be in communities and to, you know, find that sisterhood and that support, but then actually you being in this community, again, you're leading by example. And I'm just so happy for you. You've got so much love in the comments. I mean, Robin is 5 o'clock in the morning in Tampa, Florida. She's like, it's such a beautiful way to start my day. Yes, shall we have Angel as an alarm clock, please? Let's do it. You know, Jeanette is saying so powerful. Dana, who also is up very, very early. That's it right there. Confidence is there when we're with safe people. We hide ourselves when it's not safe. And this is what you're talking about, isn't it, Angel? It's the consistency, you know, because we can all feel comfortable when we're around people that we know love us, that have our backs. But the world isn't like that. You know, the systems are not set up to support people, especially if people are a little bit different, right? If people are then embracing their differentiality, which is to be admired and commended and all of those things, unfortunately there are people in this world that do not support that. So this then is about you being able to self-regulate and feel safe in your body so that you're able to go out there with that confidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I struggled for a very long time with my cane. I just turned 35 years young, and I started walking with a cane in my late 20s from the injury that I sustained while I was in the military that progressively got worse. And in the beginning part of that, I didn't want to walk with the cane. I hid it. I put it aside. I left it in the car. I left it at home. And it ultimately made things worse for me. And now it's my staff of power. Now it is part of my branding. Now it is part of who I am, because I'm trying to show others that it's okay to not look like cookie cutter. It's okay to be different. It's okay to have a flame in your heart and to carry on the message. And that's what I want to do. I want to be that light for others. I want to burn so bright that I can share my fire with others. And I just want to be that safe place that others can be like, you know what? I really like her. She's speaking from the truth. She's speaking from the heart. And I want to be her friend. I want to be in her circle. And I'm all about community. So bring it on. Let's go. Let's be friends.
Let's go. Let's be friends. If someone wants to be friends with you, where do they find you?
I am on most of all platforms at 𝐤𝐴𝐦𝐿-Branding Co. And my last name is Dash. So make sure you spell it out. I have to say that.
Did people try and put it Dash?
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. And they're like, I can't find you. And I'm like, oh, did you spell out my last name? So 𝐤𝐴𝐦𝐿-Branding Co. I'm on all platforms, but I am mostly active on Instagram.
Yes, you are. You are active on Instagram. I follow you and you're fabulous.
Thank you.
What are you, I know that you are taking full advantage of the community. We always say to our speakers, come into the community. That's what it's all about. Yes, these opportunities to speak on the Women Thrive stage, to be in the magazine, to be on the podcast, to be on events like this are fabulous and wonderful for exposure and visibility and, you know, practicing speaking, but actually the community is where it's at. And I have to say, Angel, you are there. You're the cheerleader. You are such a wonderful communicator and relationship builder. I love to see you in action. And it's not even you in action, you know, it's you being natural. It's you being naturally you. So how are you finding this experience and what are you most looking forward to about the 2026 summit?
When you and I first talked, we talked a lot about community and how I was trying to find that. I was struggling with finding the right community and finding people that just got my vibe. I'm 6 foot tall. I walk with a cane. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm a loudmouth, and I'm not ashamed of it anymore. And I am also not afraid of reaching out to anybody that I feel like vibes with me. So if I see something on Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever I'm at, and I see somebody there, I'm going to reach out to them. That's actually why I reached out to a lot of the women that are in our Thrive group, because I saw a call. I saw somebody on the call. They were talking and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to send a little coffee chat link and we're going to talk. And I've done that with so many women within the Thrive community because I want to build others up. I want to be a cheerleader in other people's corner because I know what it feels like when nobody's in yours. And I never want anybody to experience that if I'm in their world.
Yeah, it's a beautiful message and really aligns so well to the message that you shared today, because if you can feel confident and secure and safe in your own body, even when you're pushing yourself out your comfort zone, even if you see someone speak and go, you know what, I want to reach out to her. I don't know her, but I'm going to reach out and connect with her. You know, even if that feels like a bit edgy and out of your comfort zone, you're able to do it because you feel confident in your own skin. And again, that's such a great example of it.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm loving that I have built friendships that will not probably, but will last a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much love for you in the comments. I know that you're going to go back and take a look at those and just soak up the love. So again, please remind us where we can find you on socials and Instagram just one last time.
Absolutely. You can find me on all socials, 𝐤𝐴𝐦𝐿-Branding Co. Make sure you spell out dash. Also, website is 𝐤𝐴𝐦-brandingco.com, and just hop into the DMs and send me a message. Say you want to be my friend, because I love building friendships and it's wonderful to be here. Thanks again, Abby. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Angel. Take care. And thank you for joining us so early as well. Okay, so please make sure that you go and connect with Angel. Spell out her name. Don't do a dash. That's the kind of thing that I would do for sure. But it's so wonderful to have her here and to see so much love in the comments. Now, we have got one more amazing and very inspirational speaker before we bring Ramonda back on for the finale. But I would also love to introduce someone who, again, is at the other side of the world to me, middle of the night, who was got up very, very early, and we're very blessed to have her. Her name is Jennifer D. McLean, and she is a certified life and leadership coach and founder of Mission Inspire. With over 2 decades of experience in non-profit leadership and organizational development, she equips women and mission-driven professionals to lead with clarity and confidence. Her work centers on growth, resilience, and impactful values-based leadership. Jennifer, welcome to the stage. Oh my goodness, look at you in beautiful, bright colors. Yeah, is it yellow? Is it green? I don't know. Is it in the middle? You look great. Anyway,
it's a mixture of two. And I said I need to bring some sunlight, so I'm going to put on a bright color this morning.
You are bringing the summer. Whereabouts are you based, Jennifer?
So I am in the state of Illinois in the U.S. I am in Chicago. Go Bears!
Oh, Chicago, the Windy City. What time is it there for you?
It is 4:28 a.m.
Jennifer, so grateful to you to show up in this way and for you to be able to not only connect in with our wonderful community, but share your zone of genius, your story. I love to hear you speak. I'm going to pass the stage over to you, and then I'll come back at the end.
All right. Thank you so much. Good morning. So, have you ever noticed that the moment you decide to commit to something, life immediately gives you reasons to question it? You finally make the decision to speak up, to show up, to take the next step, and suddenly the distractions get louder. The doubts creep in, and the path that felt clear yesterday feels a little shaky today. It's like the universe quietly whispers, "Are you sure? Do you really mean it this time?" I've been sitting with that a lot lately, how commitment invites both clarity and challenge, not to stop us, but to stretch us, to help us grow into the version of ourselves that our mission requires. I'm Jennifer D. McLean, social impact leader, life and leadership coach, and founder of Mission Inspire. And if I'm being honest, the biggest lesson I've been living, not just learning, is this: showing up consistently is its own form of courage. We talk about courage as a leap, the moment you say yes, the moment you begin. But nobody warns you that sustaining courage, showing up again and again, even when the results are slow, even when the progress is quiet, that's a whole different muscle. This year in my business, I've had to practice that muscle more than ever. There were days when momentum felt slow, days when clarity was foggy, days where showing up didn't feel exciting. And here's the truth I've had to sit with. Consistency is not glamorous, it's not loud, and most times it's not praised. But consistency is where confidence is built. Every time I show up to speak, like today, every time I write, I coach, I train or serve, even when I don't see immediate results, I'm strengthening a truth I want every woman to carry. Your voice becomes more powerful the more you use it, not the more you perfect it. Let me say that again. Your voice becomes powerful by use, not perfection. And that's really what today's gathering is about. Women speaking with conviction, women showing up for their mission, women choosing to keep moving even when life creates delays, detours, or doubts. What I've learned is this: Courage gets you started. Consistency keeps you moving. And confidence grows in the space between the two. We often wait for confidence to arrive before we take the next step. But confidence is built through repetition, through practicing your voice, sharing your story, and committing to the work, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. You don't need a perfect plan to stay consistent. You just need a clear intention. And intention grows when we slow down long enough to name what matters. Let's pause for a moment of reflection. What's one area of your mission that still needs your presence, even if the progress has been quiet? Take a breath, hold that thought, and then ask yourself, what's one intentional action I can take this week to keep moving forward? Here's what I've come to believe. Every time a woman chooses consistency over comparison, every time she chooses courage over comfort, every time she shows up, even when she's unsure, she expands what's possible, not only for herself, but for every woman watching her. Your story, your voice, your path, even the parts still being written, they matter. And your consistency is evidence that you haven't given up on the vision placed inside of you. If this message resonated with you, I love to stay connected. You can find me on my blog at www.flourishingfiercely.com, where I share stories and tools to help women lead with courage, confidence, and grace. Thank you for showing up for yourself, your mission, and for the women who will rise because you did.
Jennifer, thank you for showing up for your voice and your mission and the women that arise because you did. We are so grateful to have you in our community, to have you on our stage today. And again, really honor you for getting up so early in the morning and sharing your message in such a passionate way. I remember on last month's showcase, you weren't up so early. You were on the second session, and you gave such a powerful share there and a very vulnerable share. And I just love the way that your message is. It's kind of every time that you speak, there's another element that you add to it. And also, what I love about the showcase today is that you are all taking us on this journey, right? So we were talking about before you joined us, Jennifer, about slowing down and resting before we kind of move forward with this energy. And then we were talking about valuing yourself and rebuilding and the confidence piece. And then you're talking about moving ahead and forging ahead. And one of the biggest things that I see with women, and I'd love to know your thoughts about this, one of the biggest things that I see with women in business is that they very often just want everything to be perfect and in order. Like, I need to work on my website. I need to get my sales funnel done. My landing page needs to look perfect. Everything needs to look perfect before I move forward. And actually what's happening there is it's a huge procrastination, because I've been 10 years in business now. My website never looks perfect. My sales funnels are never perfect. I'm never perfect. But I need to move forward in my mission. And I'd love to know your thoughts on that, Jennifer.
Let me say that's me. That is me. And it's a lot of women that I work with. You kind of set me up, Abigail, because my talk at the summit is called From Perfectionism to Progress, How to Stop Holding Yourself Back. And this is really about how we get over that need to be perfect and we just move. Like, we just move. And, will we get everything right? Absolutely not. For me, it's about learning and what I didn't get right is it just I didn't know, or, maybe I did move too fast? So then I learned next time I need to slow down, right? And so I talked about my first showcase. I was talking about perfectionism, and I had had a few colleagues to listen to me before I did it. And so when I finished, my colleagues was like, oh, that was good. And then I had one colleague that said, I really want to challenge you. You're talking about perfectionism and you trying to be perfect. Like, slow it down. I was like, oh, okay, all right. And so that was a moment for me. Even today in this speech, I messed up a few times, but I just kept going because I know what it is I think I need to say. And so just keep moving. So yeah.
Well, first of all, kudos to your colleague for calling you out on that. And we all need people in our lives that do that. It's all very well having a wonderful supportive community that are there holding a space. We also need people within a community that are able to hold us accountable and hold at the mirror how uncomfortable that feedback might be. That is someone that really loves you and is really standing for you. And I just think that that's incredible. And also what I love about that is that you were like, okay, the ego didn't get in the way. You were like, actually, yeah, this is a lesson to learn. And I'm glad that you've learned from that. And then you're able to teach from this place of transformation. I often find that, particularly as women, the reason that we do want to have everything perfect is that we want to show up not only in the very best way as ourselves. We want to look good. We want to feel good. We want to, we want to be able to position ourselves in that way. But also we want our clients to have an incredible experience. So it's like, what if the processes are not in place? The automation isn't in place. If this doesn't look great, if I don't feel prepared, then the customer experience isn't going to be great. And I always say, well, the customer experience is going to be amazing because you're not coming from a place of perfection. You're coming from a place of integrity from your heart. So you're going to make sure, I know, Jennifer, that even within your business, if everything wasn't perfectly in place, it would still be a wonderful, wonderful experience to be in your company, to coach with you, to work with you, because you got my back. You're going to make sure that things aren't going to fall out of place. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but what it needs to be is genuine and authentic. And you really bring that to the table in the community and also when you speak.
Thank you, Abigail. As I was preparing this speech, I was like, it was a point where I was like, man, I wish I had enough time, which I will do in my talk, to really talk about, I'm not saying don't strive for excellence. That's not what I'm saying, right? What I'm saying is everything doesn't have to be, T's dotted, I's crossed. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially because of women, we have a high bar, right? We have a high bar. And so if you set that bar so high and I'm not saying don't try to reach it, but I'm not saying don't stop progress because you can't reach that bar. And so I think that's important for women. And I'm talking to myself here, Jennifer, that it's important to set a bar. It's important to be excellent, but, we still have to have progress because there are people that need to hear from us. This is the thing that, like, in the past 2 years, the coaches that I've had was like, there are people that need to hear from you. That's why I love Angel's talk between, visibility and exposure. That was so helpful for me. Just thinking about like the people that are missing because you are not doing the thing that you should be doing because you're letting perfectionism hold you back.
Yeah, you could kind of say that you're being selfish, right? You're being selfish, holding back your message and trying to be perfect. And at the end of the day, who really connects with the perfect person? I'm not perfect. I can't aspire to be someone that is so out of my reach. I'm like, I'll never get to that pinnacle. And really knowing that actually behind the scenes, it's not perfect. You know, we're all messy behind the scenes. And that's what's so amazing, because it makes us human. And also, if we can bring some of that in, then it also helps others to be able to connect in with us. And your message lands very, very well. You know, very aware when you're speaking that you are talking about, strive to be the best that you can, but you don't have to have, like you say, all the T's crossed, all the I's dotted in order to be able to move forward and go and do your thing. Jennifer, it's been just wonderful speaking with you today and you bringing the sunshine onto our event. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Bye, everybody.
Oh, no, hang on. Don't go yet. We will need to, I know that you've already shared where to find you, but I'd love to know again, just so that everyone can be really, really clear about where to reach out to you and where to find you.
I spend most of my time on LinkedIn, and if you search Jennifer D. McClain, you'll find me. But I'm also on Instagram under Mission Inspire. That's Inspire with an E, not an I. And I am on Facebook as Jennifer McClain. And my blog is where I am the most at www.flourishingfiercely.com.
Wonderful. Go and check out that blog. Check out Jennifer. Go follow her. She is truly an inspiration. And thank you, Jennifer, for showing up and being real every single time. You know, you really speak from a place of courage and leadership and transformation, but you bring the realness to the party, and that's so important. It's a really important message for us to hear. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you, Abigail.
Okay, so that was our last speaker. Jennifer, please go and find her. Jennifer D. McClain. Go and sign up for her blog. Read what she has to say. We have had some truly inspirational speakers on our stage today, but it's not over. We're still going live for 20 minutes. So what does that mean? That means we get to bring on our wonderful co-hosts. So I would love to invite back onto the stage the wonderful Ramonda Jan, founder of Women Thrive, the woman who created this vision, this mission, and gets to see all of this unfold before her eyes. What does it feel like, Ramonda, to be in this whole experience with this wonderful community?
You know, it's crazy because it's like every year we started from scratch all over again, right? We do our speakers intake and we start from ground zero again. We do our selection process. And then around this time of the year, we see it all come together. You know, this year we had, I think, more than 1,500 speaker applicants. 1,500 speaker applicants. And we've been through, as you know, this year able to participate much in the speaker selection process, but you've gone through interviewing hundreds of women for the stage, and now they're here. Now we're at the stage where we're able to introduce and present our speakers to our audience and to our listeners, and it's amazing. It's amazing what happens when you build a business in alignment with your values, and then it starts to attract the people who share similar vision, similar mission in life, similar values, and they want to create similar impact. And here they are, right? They are here to presenting their stories, and every one of them, I could see why they're here. I could see why we share the same passion to empower other women because of their stories. So it's just really phenomenal to see it all now come together in March when we're having our summit.
Yeah, so much to look forward to on the summit. I really love to watch that whole journey. And it has, I mean, it just shows you, if we've had 1,500 women that have applied just for the summit this year, I mean, that's a 50% uptake year on year. Normally we would have around about 1,000 applicants. And this year we've had 1,500. And there's a reason for that, because women have got something to say. You know, women want to speak, women want to hear, have their voices heard. Women are looking for platforms to be able to speak about what they really care about, but also just as important as that, they're looking for communities to support. And that has come out so loud and clear on the calls. I mean, every single, and this is my third year of doing the, you know, the speaker interviews, and always the message is, I'm looking for community. I mean, Angel was talking about it, you know, Angel, I remember our call very well. And, you know, Angel was like, I need a community that gets me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really difficult to find those communities, right, Raimonda? Because, you know, you might have people that aren't aligned to your values, don't think the same way that you are, might be slightly biased. You know, there's a lot of craziness in the world at the moment. There's a lot of division, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of people and systems that are out to disempower, you know, women. And this is why it's so important now to be able to come together, gather together, to be in that safe environment, because it's amazing to be in that safe environment, but then to be able to gather up the confidence to go out there and have our voices heard.
Yeah. I think, you know, also some communities or some community leaders build communities around themselves, you know, like wanting to put themselves on a pedestal. And that's what it's about. But a real community is a community where we all come together as equals. And 𝐸 actually talks about the power of lionesses, an example of how lionesses in the wild take care of their community, and everyone is equal. There is no hierarchy, and they all come together in resourceful ways to, you know, to hunt and take care of their little babies, and, you know, bring their whatever they bring to the community. And that's the way I see Women Thrive. We all have similar vision of what we want to do and impact. We're not here to fight. We're here to actually just support, uplift, and see each other thrive in a way. And I always, for many years, I always said, I've never built this platform for me, right? If I built this platform for me, I would have built a more successful coaching business, right? Or whatever business. But actually, the mission has always been about spotlighting women's voices and bringing the light, shining the light on them as opposed to me. And I'm glad that this community and this organization can function without me whilst I do what I do, raising my little babies.
Yeah, well, we couldn't function without you, but we do miss you. And it's wonderful to have you back. It really is. I mean, you know, as I said at the beginning, it's been wonderful to be able to bring in some guest co-hosts. And, you know, Tina, for example, who's the founder. She's not the founder. She's the founder of her own business, amazing business, but she is the editor of the Women Thrive magazine, and also Pia, who was who's based in Spain, who was one of our speakers on the summit this year. So it was really lovely to bring them in. But there's nothing like having Raimonda, especially now in full mamahood mode, coming onto the stage. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, Ray, because one of the things that I say, I mean, obviously the potential speakers get to meet me on the call, so hopefully they can feel that I am authentic and genuine, and the way that I am online is exactly the same as I am on a call. But maybe they haven't met you yet in person, and they just see you as the founder. They see, you know, it's all very nice sort of showing up in beautiful brand shots and things like that, but actually, who is the person behind that? And I always say to the women, look, Raimonda is just as nice in person as she is online, you know, because you can dazzle people by being a certain persona online and then bringing them into your community. And I'm sure that we've all sort of, you know, had experiences of where you go into a community and it might not be quite what you expected, or like you just said, Raimonda, it's built around the founder and you've got a queen bee and everyone buzzing around them. But that is not the way that leadership is designed to work anymore. these hierarchical systems that where there's one person at the top and everyone is subservient underneath, it does not work anymore. And yes, there are still systems in place like that in the world, especially in corporation and politics and things like that. But you can see they're crumbling. People want something different. People don't want to stand for this anymore. And especially as women, that's not the way that we're designed to operate. I want to be shoulder to shoulder, like you just said, Ramonda. Dr. Quillette-James talks about lionesses. I always talk about she-wolves. There's no leader of the pack. Everyone takes their own designated role. I'm good at some things. Other people might be better at me at some things, and that's fine. We all find our place and our role and our zone of genius, and then we support one another. And that's what I really love about this community. Every time we come onto the calls and we share and we have our speakers come into the community on the calls, everyone plays their role, everyone's respected, and this is about raising one another up. And I just always commend you, Ramonda. You have my utmost respect, actually, this anyway, but just for creating this culture, because every single year we have different speakers, but every year the vibe is the same. And that's because of the culture that you have set for this community that I feel very honored to come in and be able to maintain in the role that I play within Women Thrive.
Yeah. I had a call with somebody yesterday. I'm so sorry. And she said, Abigail really holds the space, and you need not worry. Whilst you've been away, she's been taking a really good care of the community and the speakers, and your mission and purpose. And I was like, I know, I don't doubt that. And she's like, she really loves you. I'm like, I know, and I love her too, right? Because we connected a while back, and we've been working together for a few years, but I think our relationship has gone from strength to strength, and it's very rare to find women and people in your organization who truly shares the passion and believes in what we're doing and truly represents it as good, if not better, than you would yourself. And that gives me real peace when I'm going about my days and trying to build this organization for all of us. I know there isn't somebody, who's trying to step into your shoes and show up as the queen bee instead of you whilst you're not there or anything like that, or not represent your business fully. I feel really proud that we have this relationship, and you understand the bigger vision behind it, that we've built this for all of us, and we need not fight for the spotlight in a way, right? It's about shining the spotlight on each and every one of us and celebrating each other. And it's a different vibe. It's a very, very different vibe, which I'm really proud of, that we have the authenticity without even trying, just live in alignment with our values and what the value of the community is. And it's rare. And I am finding in many conversations that it is very rare. It's even rare for people to follow through on what they're offering and selling. And it's like, oh my goodness. So I'm proud of what we built, and I'm proud that we have hundreds of testimonials, and that women can come here and feel safe, supported, and build those long-lasting relationships, because that's what it is.
Yeah, thank you, Ramonda. I mean, I've got my own business and my own community, and it's what I would want as well. We were having a conversation about this with one of the speakers, weren't we, yesterday? As you're growing your business, as you're expanding your business, it's really important to have people around you that are able to grow with you, that can hold the energy of that, because the bigger your business becomes, the more clients you have, the more programs you have, the bigger your sales funnels, the bigger the tech, the bigger the space that needs to be held by your team. And the Women Thrive team really is a wonderful, wonderful community. These wonderful speakers that you've seen today are able to show up in their power because of the support they get from this whole experience and from the team supporting them. So this is about coming together, it's about sharing, it's about supporting one another. And please take this as as one of the takeaways. I know that there's been many takeaways from our event today, but one of the takeaways, it's really important to have that community around you, whether it's your colleagues in an experience like this, whether you're masterminding, whether you are building a team, whether you're in corporate and you have a team in corporate. It really is important to have that team that are able to support you so that you can go and do your role and you can do what you love and you can do your zone of genius, and then other people in your community are able to support you with that. So we are all lionesses, we're all she-wolves howling howling at the moon and making our voice known above the pitter-patter of little voices in this global community at the moment. And we just need to stand together and make our mark and come together and thrive.
That's right. And I think everybody needs an Abigail in their business whilst they're on maternity leave.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to support with the wonderful speaker applications. We're just coming to the end of that now. There's so many opportunities, though, if you would like to be involved in the Women Thrive community. I mean, we've already spoken about the magazine, so we are always looking for contributors. I said that wrong. Contributors to the Women Thrive magazine. We've just put the link in there. So we have got some wonderful women that have been on the front of our magazine and will continue to do this. This is Susan Walker, who's one of our incredible speakers. I'm sure that you'll see her on one of the upcoming showcases. She is on the front cover of our magazine this month, and very soon we'll have our December edition that will be coming out that will be celebrating 50 editions of the Women Thrive magazine, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you would like to contribute to the magazine, then please go over to our website, the magazine website, womenthrivemagazine.com. And we would love to have you write an article to be submitted to the wonderful Tina, who's our Women Thrive magazine editor. And also, if you would like to be on the front cover of the magazine, we do have a bit of a waiting list, actually. I think it's not until August of next year now, but if you want to get in on that edition, you can do so too. And also remember that at the moment, and continuing, and we will always do this, we are also supporting wonderful authors to be able to share their message through authorship. We are publishers. I mean, that's one of the things that we do as well. We're Women Thrive Media. We're multifaceted, just like our audience, just like you are. And already, Ramonda, you have mentioned the wonderful Neo, who is one of our wonderful solo book authors that we are supporting to write her book and write her story, and is such a beautifully loved member of our audience and our community, and is also going to be one of our speakers. So if you would like to join Neo as a solo book, if you've always wanted to write a book, then reach out to us and we can support you with that. So any final words before we go, Ray?
My sweet little princess is wanting mama attention. She's like, okay, mommy, we done. Thank you for being here. Thanks to all of our audience for being here, for all our team who help us make it happen. Thank you to my co-host, Abigail. And of course, all of our speakers who showed up for today's event and delivered their messages. But also, we are going to be back this evening, afternoon, depending where in the world you are, in a couple of hours. So come back to Women Thrive Media on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you tap into our afternoon session, which is going to be just as phenomenal. Thank you all so much. It's been amazing. And I am sure My little one has enjoyed it, and now it's time for mama and daughter time.
Wonderful. Thanks, Ramonda. Thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you to our wonderful team that have supported us and continue to support us with these live streams. Thank you, everyone, for joining and showing us love. And we will see you on the second showcase a little bit later on today. But for now, have an amazing day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye for now.